What is up, y'all? It's Aries. Pretty much, just was thinking, why not make a video on this? Um, Kind of just wanted to make a video on happiness, and just what happens when people are happy and when they're not happy. Not just with people, but with me in particular. Um, right now in life, I'm not happy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to, give bullshit. I'm just going to say it flat out. I'm not happy with my life right now. Um, I have these thoughts at night, obviously, like everyone else does, where they're like, oh, I really got to lock in and shit. Like, I started my second job, because I quit one job, right? Because it wasn't doing enough for me personally. It wasn't doing good enough for me. So I quit that job and then I got another job. So I'm back to work at two jobs. And pretty much, yeah, it's I'm making decent money from both jobs. I'm able to pay my rent. So that's kind of all that really matters. But that's it. I don't want just enough money. And people have always told me money can't buy happiness, but that's a lie. Money can buy you happiness, but money can't buy you love. And currently, I am missing out on love, which is mainly the number one reason why I, am not happy. I just haven't had genuine love and support and just kind of all that from my parents and a couple of my friends. I feel like supporting someone that struggles mentally and physically and just emotionally and spiritually is what we need to do as humans, and a lot of us don't do that. Like, I'm a Christian, right? I struggle with my faith just as much as the next Christian guy or the next Christian girl, right? Which that's my spiritual, development. I'm not fantastic at it. I'm not the best at it, and I struggle with that a lot. But growing up, I was always told to protect my sisters that are both older than me, to love both my sisters, to, support them with anything and everything that they do, right? And to just be there, because I'm the only son, so I have to, obviously protect and, be the man of the house because my dad's not here. Like, when my dad goes on business trips, I'm obviously, kind of in charge of doing shit in a way, other than my mom. And it just, in a sense, it kind of hurts because it's I was always told that, I have to support everyone, but no one was really supportive of me. And I was never able to do sports when I was younger, which hurts because I had two older sisters, which filled up both my parents' time slots for doing stuff. And, they spent a lot of money on Girl Scouts and dance, which that was what they did until, I played golf. And I didn't even play golf. I got lessons, and that was it. And I got lessons because I was at a spot when I was older and taller than the other people that I was there taking lessons with. And then I quit golf. I stopped playing golf entirely when I was younger. Kind of went away from that. And then I kind of went the route of just nothingness, I guess, because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't play football when I was younger. I couldn't play soccer. Couldn't do a little league team because my parents didn't have the time nor the money to be putting towards me. And then, high school rolled around and my dad was like, you got to do an extracurricular activity because I was kind of just the second I got home, kind of just went to playing video games on my PlayStation or my laptop that I had. And then my dad's like, you got to join something. And he told me that if I don't join something, he was going to force me to play hockey for my school. And not saying that that was a bad thing. I never played hockey. I still don't play hockey. Um, it's just I feel like my dad just wanted me to do something with my life while I was in my high school years, and in a sense, I kind of felt kind of pushed into a sport, like, and I didn't really want to do it at first. And that sport was tennis, which honestly, I'm kind of grateful I was pushed into it because I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just pick a random ass sport because I was like, I can't do football, I can't do soccer, I can't do basketball because I'm not tall enough, and I can't do baseball because I have no experience with baseball, soccer, football, and I'm not doing wrestling because I'm sorry, but I'm not gay, I'm not grappling a bunch of men. That's just not happening, right? And pretty much I was like, it was down to either lacrosse or tennis, in a sense. And I'm sorry, I can run fast, just not far, which is why I would never do track. And I'm not, and obviously there's a bunch of other shit in track, but personally, I just would never do that. But so it was down to lacrosse and tennis. And I was like, lacrosse, I heard that it's a very expensive sport, The gear roughly costs like $600 to like 1,000. And, lacrosse sticks, like they're expensive as shit if you want to build them. Um, and pretty much I just picked tennis. And I, played my sophomore year, got, was really bad at it sophomore year. And then going into junior year, I got, I don't know if it was junior or senior year, but I got lessons with a couple coaches, and like there was like a whole group of people roughly my age. So I felt good being in, that group, but I was very unexperienced. I was bad at the game. I was absolutely horrible at tennis. I was on JV practice squad because we had like over 20 people, in tennis, and I was really bad at tennis. I still got my time to play. I still won my matches, right? And I gave it my all, and I lost some, I won some, and then pretty much what happened was my dad's like, how like much do you want to like do tennis? And I was like, I kind of enjoy it. It's like I was more fit, I was eating more, I looked healthier, I was, you know, doing better, mentally wise, but at the same time I was doing horrible, and then, junior year rolls around and I start playing better. I'm there, and then, I'm just doing better overall. And then I got a blocker, a physical blocker, which was new people joining the team. And obviously, I hate when that shit happens. When, new people join something that I'm in and they're inexperienced, but they are kind of like a sports prodigy. So he got varsity and I got JV, but that was my junior year. And I kind of was like, heard about that. And my dad's like, okay, well, if you want, you can get more lessons. And I was like, yes, I need more lessons. And so he kind of signed me on with a private tennis teacher, and each session was $120 for, I can't remember if it was 3 or 6 hours. It was long ass time, right? And I was like, fuck it. I don't care, dude. I don't care. No, it was 3 hours. It was 3 hours because it was from 3 to 6. Right? I was like, I don't care. I just want to be the best, right? That I could possibly be. Like, we went over things. He taught me things that, like, because I don't know how to slice like that, but I can do like a backhand slice. And I did it fucking fantastic the first time I did it, right? And what sucks is my sister got so upset that my dad, because I did two sets of training with the big group, and that was $800 each. My sister got upset that my dad spent $1,600 and more on me for tennis lessons to get varsity my senior year. I made varsity senior year. I was good. I was confident. I beat some of the better people that played for the team. I was like, okay, I'm doing good. I won. I got varsity. And it felt fantastic, right? But the support was just not there from like half my family, right? Like uh I remember it was one of the times I was playing, like my oldest sister Athena, right? Like she she was in college when I was, playing tennis for my high school, and she even showed up. My sister and my dad showed up while my other sister didn't. And then, there's been times where my mom shows up, once in a blue moon, my other sister shows up, you know, and it's just like I just wish I got generally a lot more support, because it'd be like it's it's weird like not getting full support from your family, like because we were having a discussion at dinner once where it's like, where like my sister's like, oh, can you help me out with this, and I'm like, no, I got plans, right? Like I got to do stuff for myself. And she's like, well, why not? I'm like, because I've always supported you, but I need to do my own thing, right? And she got upset. My mom and dad were like, you need to shut up. Like, he's been to every single one of your dance recitals. Every single one. He's been to all the big Girl Scout events for you. He's even helped move Girl Scout cookies when he's not even in Girl Scouts, right? And I did everything. I supported both my sisters. I helped them out. And then, my parents were, they're like, you supported your sisters more than you really should have needed to. And we, we appreciate you for that. And I feel like I don't really like appreciation in words, more of like actions, I guess, because obviously actions speak louder than words. And I kind of guess it paid off in a sense, because, I do things for my dad, I do things for my mom, I do things for my sisters, right? And then my dad's messaged me, like, he's like, is there any video game that you want? Is there anything that you want, on your Xbox, on the PlayStation downstairs, or, on the Nintendo Switch that you have? Or just like oh, is there anything that you wanted to do? And like, I'd say it, and he'd be like, okay, I'll order it for you. Because it's like, I feel like my dad is the only one that kind of like supports me fully in a sense. But the one thing that, my parents don't really support me on is me getting a motorcycle, which I already kind of made a deal with them that I wouldn't get it. Like, I told them, I'd be like, hey, mom and dad, I want to start working on bikes, also other than cars and like trucks. And they were like, okay, well, we're not really happy about that, but I'm starting off with a smaller bike, like, but it's a cruiser, it's not a sports bike. It's 471 cc's, so it's decent, right? It's not gonna, get me killed by going high speeds. I'll still be able to go fast, just not that fast. But my dad used to ride bikes. They aren't very happy about it, but I think that my dad's going to just have to eventually deal with it, and he's eventually going to be like, okay, well, oh, what you doing on your bike? Like, if he sees me working on it or something, like, and he'll give me pointers because he used to have a bike. But it's the support that, from the family that truly counts. Like, I'm not being supported with the purchase of my bike in a sense, with like, oh, okay, well, as long as you're safe. Um, I'm mostly being told like, oh, well, people die on those, like all the negative shit that happens, I feel like if you just fill my mind with negative things that happen, I will only think negatively. And they always have said that I have a very closed off mind and a very negative mind towards things. And I truly feel like it's dumb that kind of push that narrative. And I feel like it's everyone else that kind of pushes that narrative, like saying that, oh, you're negative. You don't think, from the opposite side of things. I see things from a side of, if it doesn't, like, I don't want to do shit if it's not good for me, or I don't want to open my mind and see that, oh, it's bad, and be like, okay, well, I called it, it's bad, Like it's like I don't want to be that guy and be like, oh, what I tell you so. Oh, what the fuck did I tell you? You know, I was fucking right. Like I don't want to be that guy, but I have to be that guy when I open my mind to certain things, and then they are like, you know, like he was right because he understands shit, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But it's just I want support from friends and family, you know, but mostly family. With like things I do. My dad, I'm gonna say a word. This might trigger a couple people, but my dad doesn't like me watching this YouTube channel called The Losers. They play video games, and you know it's four guys that just play video games. He calls them retards and says that being a YouTuber is not a job, but being a YouTuber has always been my dream job, and I'm trying to slowly but surely make that my job instead of hurting my back, fucking working on cars or working on bikes or working on trucks. Because it's like, I don't want to do that, for the rest of my life. I don't even really want to do that right now. But, I'm doing it because it's a stable job, right? So, pretty much, I just wanted to say, like, I feel like if I had the support from friends and family, like, a lot more than I do have right now, I feel like it would propel me to be better and to be just overall, a better person. And not saying it would make me happier, but I feel like if I got the unconventional, I think that's the right word to use. Well, no, it's unconditional. Unconventional. Conventional is a fucking oven. Like, just, I want to be loved for not what I provide, but what I am, in a sense. And I just don't feel that from my family in a way, which kind of hurts, but it's the truth. But I just want the support from, because you guys obviously support me because you guys still watch the videos. Even if it's a handful of you guys that watch these videos, that's all that matters, because it's still support in the end. But I kind of just expect more from my parents and my sisters. After all, I've done so much for them, yet asked for so little in exchange. And it kind of hurts. Like, I've just been, like, just thinking, like, why don't they support me getting a bike? And why won't they help me with that financially? Like, all I'm asking is my dad be a co-signer and I pay it off over the span of a year to 2 years. Because guess what? It helps me build my credit. It helps me, start being able to build a credit so I can eventually buy my own shop and run my own shit. But I don't know. I'm just seeing it as like kind of like a good way to, learn about shit, but it's whatever, It's how other people see it, it's how other people determine it. But that's gonna be it for this video. So, peace.